Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, The Growth Chronicles with Mosam. In this video, I will talk about how to ace an interview, जो सबसे मोस्ट ऑफन आस्क्ड क्वेश्चंस है एक इंटरव्यू में, चाहे आप कोई भी फील्ड ऑफ जॉब में क्यों ना हो. एंड एक मॉक इंटरव्यू के ज़रिए से मैं आपको ये समझाने की कोशिश करूँगा कि आंसर्स को कैसे स्ट्रक्चर करना है, कैसे बताना है और क्या क्या ट्रिक्स है जैसे आपका इंटरव्यू बहुत अच्छा जाएगा. सो पहले ये समझते हैं मॉक इंटरव्यू होता क्या है और मॉक इंटरव्यू का ज़रूरत क्यों है. देखिए, आप जितना भी अच्छे से प्रिपेयर्ड हो, अगर आप इंटरव्यू का कंडीशंस में आपको खुद को सिमुलेट नहीं करोगे, उसमें कितना प्रेशर्स आता है, क्या थॉट प्रोसेस चलता है, क्या नर्वसनेस होता है, क्या क्या क्वेश्चंस आपके पास आ सकता है, तो आपको समझ नहीं आएगा कि क्या हो रहा है जब आप एक्चुअली इंटरव्यू दोगे. इट्स अ प्रेशर सिचुएशन. सो जितना भी आप मॉक इंटरव्यूज़ दोगे, आप उससे कंफर्टेबल होते जाओगे. पहले अपने दोस्तों के साथ ट्राई करिए, या फिर घर में अगर भाई बहन है, माँ बाप है, उनको बोलिए, उनके साथ ट्राई करिए. धीरे धीरे आपको समझ में आ जाएगा और आप देखेंगे जब आप एक्चुअल इंटरव्यू देंगे उसका क्या इम्पैक्ट है आपका इंटरव्यू देने में. ना, प्री इंटरव्यू, जब भी आप इंटरव्यू के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो ना, 3 चीज़ों के बारे में प्रिपेयर कीजिए. एक, जो कंपनी जिसके लिए आप इंटरव्यू दे रहे हो, उसका फाइनेंशियल्स, उसका प्रोडक्ट पोर्टफोलियो अगर आप मार्केटिंग या सेल्स में हो, उसका क्या मिशन एंड विजन है, उसका लेटेस्ट न्यूज़. ये 4 चीज़ें आपको पता होना चाहिए. दूसरा जो चीज़ है, आपके रोल के बारे में उस कंपनी में पता कीजिए. कोई अगर बंदा उसी रोल में आपके साथ कनेक्टेड है लिंक्डइन में, बात कीजिए क्या क्या उसका डे टू डे टास्क है, क्या क्या KPIs है, लीडरशिप स्ट्रक्चर कैसा है, फ्यूचर क्या है इस रोल का, और क्या क्या इनसाइट्स आपको चाहिए इस रोल में कामयाब होने के लिए. थर्डली, अगर आपको पता है आपके इंटरव्यूअर कौन होगा, तो उनके बारे में थोड़ा सा रिसर्च कीजिए. कितने साल वो इस कंपनी में है, क्या क्या रोल्स किए हुए हैं, कहाँ से है वो, कहाँ से है, सो दैट आपको इंटरव्यूअर के बारे में बहुत सारा आइडिया मिल जाएगा. जैसे मैं मॉक इंटरव्यू दूंगा या आपके साथ मैं एक्सप्लेन करूँगा आंसर्स कैसे देना है, आपको पता चलेगा ये 3 चीज़ें क्यों इम्पॉर्टेंट है. तो लेट्स स्टार्ट ऑफ. हाय मौसम, good morning, nice to meet you, how are you doing? Good morning sir, I am doing well, nice to meet you and I hope you are doing well too, thank you for asking. So इसमें क्या हुआ, देखिए इसमें एक स्टार्ट हुआ जहाँ पे मैं कॉन्फिडेंट था, मैं असर्टिव था, मैंने विश किया और मैंने स्माइल करके विश किया. तो इसमें मैंने कुछ एग्जैजरेट नहीं किया कि दिस इज़ अ ग्रेट अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर मी, दिस इज़ अ बिग ड्रीम कंपनी फॉर मी, आई एम लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू इट, नथिंग लाइक दैट. जस्ट स्माइल, नॉर्मली ग्रीट करो, कॉन्फिडेंटली ग्रीट करो, दैट्स गुड इनफ टू स्टार्ट ऑफ. नाउ द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन जो सबको पूछा जाता है, मौसम कैन यू प्लीज़ टेल मी अ बिट अबाउट योर सेल्फ. हाई सर, I come from a small town called Bandel, which is situated 40 kilometers from Kolkata, which is the capital of West Bengal. Coming from a relatively smaller town has taught me the importance of maximizing the minimum resources that I have had. I was another engineer going through his college days, in love with coding and tried to create a career for myself in the software engineering domain. But then I met a friend of mine who was preparing for MBA. While discussing with him, I realized that there are so many aspects to business. There is finance, there is marketing, there is sales, there is supply chain and so on. His infections rubbed onto me and then I started researching more about MBA. And then I realized, well, okay, I am good at coding, but I like to explore different avenues of business as well and try and understand how an entire organization functions. So this interest created in me helped me to clear CAT, and luckily I got admissions into one of the best B schools in India. I am Lucknow. Over the course there, I met so many young professionals and young students who are from different walks of life. I got to know about so many things. I developed holistical thinking, critical thinking, and I was able to see problems from different lenses, which I applied in my professional career going ahead. I've been in the FMCG industry for 5 years across different channels and different industries. In the FMCG domain itself, I have learned so many things and I feel that I have so many things remaining to learn. In my free time, I love to watch a lot of cricket and that keeps me going and keeps my battery refreshed. So over here in the introduction, मैंने क्या क्या किया, मैंने इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ें बताया कि मैं कहाँ से आ रहा हूँ और वो जगह मेरे को कैसे शेप किया है. मैंने अपने रेज्यूमे के बारे में कुछ नहीं ज़्यादा बोला, मैं सिर्फ बोला है 5 साल FMCG में मैंने किया है, मैंने क्या सीखा उससे. आई एम ट्राइंग टू इनकॉर्पोरेट दैट rather than just saying कि मैं XYZ कंपनी में ABC रोल करके ये चीज़ें किया हूँ. नो, दैट इज़ देयर इन द रिज्यूमे. इंटरव्यूअर नोस. तो ऐसे चीज़ें बताओ जिससे आप रिलेट कर पाओ, एंड दैट टॉक्स अ लॉट अबाउट योर स्किल सेट्स. आपने क्या सीखा, कहाँ से सीखा. सो दैट्स इंपॉर्टेंट. जो भी आपका रोल है उसमें क्या स्किल सेट्स चाहिए, मैरी दैट विद योर वर्क एक्स, या फिर आपका फैमिली बैकग्राउंड, या फिर आप जहाँ से आ रहे हो, तो एक हॉलिस्टिक आंसर मिल जाएगा, एंड यू आर सेइंग समथिंग विच क्रिएट्स अ कनेक्ट विद द इंटरव्यूअर. सेकेंड मोस्ट ऑफन asked question. Mosam, that's a very good introduction. So why do you want to work with this company and why should we hire you? Well, I was reading one of the key messages from one of your senior leaders in the annual report of last year, where he talked about adaptability being a very critical quality to succeed in today's life or in today's corporate world, because technology is changing so fast. So I had such experience in the starting phase of my career. The organization I was working for was more into a different channel where they took a lot of time to take decisions. There were multiple layers of approvals needed. Lot of data churning was done. Lot of discussions and debates happened. After that, the approval was given to launch something new. But I was working in a department which is working with startup clients. So I needed to be a lot more faster, a lot more agile in my decision making. Otherwise, what would happen is that my competition would take up the different opportunities that came up with my clients. So as a practice, I started to deep dive a lot more into data. I started to gain understanding from my clients' industry about what is happening, and at a faster pace, I was able to grasp information, take that to my bosses and superiors, and try and get approvals. What helped was that since I was prepared with a lot of data and insights from within the industry as well as from the client's industry, so it gave me a 360-degree overview of what is happening. That helped me to convince my leadership to give faster approvals. In that way, I was able to adapt myself to the role that I was doing, and I was able to have a success story ready for my organization as well as for myself. So I think, that is a skill that is needed in any industry that we are working for right now, because technology is changing at such a fast pace. And I think being adaptable and getting to learn things quickly sets me apart from the other candidates, and hence I look forward to joining this organization. So इसमें देखो मैंने क्या किया. जो रिसर्च अबाउट द कंपनी, मैंने बोला कि आपका एक एनुअल रिपोर्ट में आपका सीनियर लीडरशिप ने ये क्वालिटी बोला था, तो वो मैंने पिक किया. दैट शोज आई हैव डन द रिसर्च. देन आई पिक्ड अ स्टोरी फ्रॉम माई लाइफ विच हैज़ हैपेंड, जो एक्चुअली में हुआ है. देयर इज़ नथिंग रॉन्ग अबाउट इट. और मैंने बोला उससे मैंने क्या सीखा और क्यों वो ज़रूरत था, और कैसे उसके हिसाब से अगर मैं उसी फील्ड में कंटिन्यू किया जैसे मैं उधर पे काम कर रहा था, देन आई विल बी अ सक्सेस स्टोरी इन दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. तो दैट्स द वे टू डू इट. रिसर्च करो कंपनी के ऊपर, पता करो कि क्या चीज़ है जो दे आर लुकिंग फॉर, एंड bring an incident from your life that you can talk about and marry it. That shows that you have done research, that you are well prepared and you are confident. So that's the way to crack this answer. Now coming to question number 3. Well, Mosam, that's very nice of you that you have researched about the company, but there are a lot of strengths and weaknesses that different professionals have. So what is your weakness that you want to talk about? I have a certain weakness to definitely talk about. So what I do is that since I worked in organizations which are very data oriented and they test a lot of hypotheses, so before taking any decision, I deep dive into a lot of data from different dimensions. I look at data from multiple years, I look at data from different industries, I look at data from different competition, and then I take a decision. So sometimes what happens, I realize it's important to take a decision rather than taking a right decision. Otherwise the time passes, which again I have learned from the different roles that I have done in my life so far. So that is something I am working on. I'm trying to understand what are the most important decision making matrices that I look at, and then try to take a decision and then work on it. Rather than perfection, I'm trying to work on excellence, and that is a skill that I am developing over a period of time. So what did I do over here? I talked about a weakness, which is a weakness कि हाँ मैं डेटा बहुत देखता हूँ, उसके हिसाब से मैं डिसीजन लेता हूँ, बट वो फास्ट नहीं होता, तो मैं काम कर रहा हूँ उस पर. सो व्हाट इज़ द टेक अवे? टेक अवे ये है कि आप एक वीकनेस बताओ जो है एक्चुअल में वीकनेस. डोंट ट्राई टू चेंज इट लाइक no, I am a perfectionist या फिर I am very punctual and people don't like it. So don't say about that. Talk about a professional weakness and say how you are improving. But ऐसा कुछ weakness मत बोल देना which will be a deal changer. For example, a weakness of identifying or getting into data that is good for certain organizations, but again at some time you have to take decisions which is critical. So make a balance of both of them. Okay, now coming to the fourth thing that gets asked in an interview. Well, Mosam, okay, I understand that you look into a lot of data, deep dive a lot, but I'm sure you must have had some failures in your career, right? That you want to talk about. So, if you can talk about such an incident. Well, yeah, I have an incident that I want to talk about. I remember when I landed in IIM Lucknow, I was so confident and I thought, here, finally I've arrived. I was a guy from a tier 2 city, from a tier 2 institute, and I went into IIM Lucknow. I thought I'm set for life. But within the first 2 days, I had a big cultural shock. I was meeting people who were toppers all their life. There were successful people who had work years behind them. There were doctors, there were commerce grads, there were IITians and ITLs. So I got a real cultural shock and I thought to myself, where have I landed? I felt very insecure. I felt that I should go back to doing what I was before this, and I thought really hard that no, I'm not going to succeed. I had a lot of self doubts during that point of time. While my friends called me up to congratulate me and ask about how life is at IIM, I used to jokingly tell them we used to think that my undergrad college was very strict because we had classes from 10 to 5, then we had to do a lot of assignments, there were a lot of tests. But I told them that IIM is a different kettle of fish altogether, and it is very challenging because you are working round the clock, you hardly have 3 to 4 hours of sleep. Genuinely, I thought that I had made a mistake by coming over there and I should go back to my comfort zone. But again, I pushed and challenged myself, and I thought if I can crack the academics over here, or if I can do well in certain aspects, then I can do much better in life. And I took that as a challenge as I went forward in my journey at IIM Lucknow. Well, now coming to the fifth part. Before that, what did I do over here? When I talked about a failure, it was a genuine thing that happened. कोई भी लड़का अगर बैंडल जैसे टाउन में पला बड़ा हो, उसका पूरा करियर उधर ही रहा हो, बाहर का दुनिया से ज़्यादा एक्सपोज नहीं हुआ हो, suddenly goes to IIM Lucknow, there's a huge gap in competition, huge gap in the peers that you see and the professors that you see. So there is going to be a cultural shock that you need to absorb. And उसमें होता है doubts, उसमें insecurities होता है. So it's okay to tell about that. But at the same time also tell that हाँ मैंने उस पर काम किया and I started improving on it. That shows हाँ failure था, कोई भी इंसान perfect पैदा नहीं हुआ है. So that person worked on his failure. So that's a very good answer to give. So structure your answer in a very similar manner. Talk about the incident which is low risk relatively, and then talk about how you have improved. Now coming to the next question. Well, Mosam, there must be some incident in your life, right? Or in your work where you were really, under stress and under pressure, and how did you react to that? Well, yeah, I would like to talk about one such incident. In my last organization, while I joined in, I was doing some good work. I had taken in some great practices from my previous organization. I was trying to build both of it. So after 2 or 3 months, I understood that a lot of people are giving me a lot of work from the leadership team, right? So I was doing 3 or 4 roles parallelly. So I got very frustrated. I used to see that my peers are having a very chilled life. People are coming to office at 10, leaving by 5:30, and still having time to go to cafeteria and chill. I was feeling like I'm doing all the work. I don't have any free time. So I was very stressed about this and I was very angry. I went up to my manager and said, how is this fair? I am getting all the work and I don't understand. A lot of other people who should do more work are doing less work, without taking names obviously. So then my manager heard me and he told me 2 very important things. First thing that he told me, Mosam, the price that one pays for being good in the corporate is far more than the price that a bad person pays for being bad. So the takeaway is that if you're doing good work, more work will come to you. So that means people trust you. That means people believe that you have the capability to work. And he told me internally they always ask this question, whether this candidate or the person who is handling this role is good enough to become a future leader or a future national level leader or a regional level leader. And he told me, for me the answer is a big yes, hence people expect me to do work. When he told me this, right, the perspective changed. Now when work came to me, I realized that okay, I must be good at it. That's why work is coming to me, and it will help me accelerate faster in my career, which has happened to certain people in the organization earlier. So there was a roadmap for me. So hence, yeah, I realized that okay, it's fine to get more work. I have to become more structured at it, but I am good at it. So I got confident with that thing, and that was a great message to learn so early on in my career. Well, Mosam, to be very honest, that's a great advice to receive at such a young age and a great perspective as well. But tell me something, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Well, to be very honest, while I was doing my engineering, I always thought that I will do a software engineering job, or I would follow the footsteps of my father and sister and get into a government job, which is well paid and my life will be cozy and chill. That was my mindset. But then I decided to do MBA, which is very opposite. Then I was in FMCG, which is a very different industry, and now I am sitting for this interview. So to be very honest, I don't know where I will be from 5 years from now. But what I definitely want to be is that I understand people like me exist in the world who have a very linear direction of thinking. They believe that okay, if I take path X, for example, if I only do MBA, only become a doctor, or only become an engineer, then I am successful. But I want to be an inspiration for them and make them realize that there are different directions that are there in life that can be done. So yeah, that is where I see myself 5 years down the line. I see myself working in different projects that grows my skill set and helps me become an inspiration for people after me. Okay, so what did I do in this question? Honestly, मेरे को नहीं पता 5 साल बाद मैं किधर जाने वाला हूँ, किसी को नहीं पता. जो मेरा इंटरव्यू ले रहा है उसको भी नहीं पता है, तो मेरे को कैसे पता होगा 5 साल में पहले जहाँ पे था. If someone asked me 5 साल बाद आप कहाँ होंगे, I would not have been able to answer. So it's okay to be honest. So give that link and tell what you want to be. कुछ एक्शनेबल देना पड़ेगा. वेग नहीं बोल सकते कि हाँ चलो मेरे को पता नहीं है बट, या फिर मैं CEO बन जाऊँगा, या फिर मेरे को ये बनना है. नो, टेल व्हाट इज़ प्रैक्टिकल एंड जेन्युइनली टेल व्हाट हैज़ हैपेंड इन योर लाइफ. जो 5 साल में आपके साथ हुआ है वही मोस्ट लाइकली 5 साल बाद बस होगा. द पैटर्न्स आई एम टॉकिंग, नॉट द आउटकम. अगर आप FMCG इंडस्ट्री में हो, ऐसा नहीं है कि 5 साल बाद FMCG में ही रहोगे, बट वो 5 साल FMCG में आपने क्या सीखा, क्या किया, उसके हिसाब से आप बोल सकते हो कि हाँ मेरे को लगता है कि 5 साल बाद मैं ये करना चाहता हूँ एंड आई वांट टू इंस्पायर द पीपल कमिंग आफ्टर मी. इट्स अ फेयर आंसर टू गिव. ओके, सो नाउ कमिंग टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. मौसम, सो दैट्स रियली ग्रेट, यू नो, बट टेल मी समथिंग. Let's say that you get hired for the role. How do you handle conflicts in a professional setup? Well, yeah, I have had many incidents like that in my work life where I have handled conflicts. I feel that it's very important as a team player or someone who is leading a team to understand every opinion that is coming about a problem, and then understand the pros and cons of it and take a balanced decision as per my understanding and as per the needs of the organization. In that way, and communicate it to the person if I have a different point of view in a very objective manner. What is the logic behind differing from him or her, and what is the merits of taking this decision and going forward for the organization. So that communicates that yeah, that employees or the team members' insights are beneficial and valuable, but there's a different trajectory that we want to take, and this is the logic behind that. So if that is communicated, I feel a lot of conflicts can be dealt with, but it has to be based on logic and reasoning and not on personal bias. That is what I think would differentiate, and people would respect me for that. That is my style of handling conflicts in a work environment. So what did I do over here? I did not get into something specific. I gave a very broad-based generic answer on how to handle conflicts, on how I have done that in the past. कि अगर कोई मेरा एम्प्लॉय है या फिर मेरा टीम मेंबर है जो मेरे को बोलता है कि सर मौसम लेट्स डू इट इन XYZ वेज, मैं बोलता हूँ नहीं, लेट्स डू इट इन ABC वे. बट रिस्पेक्टफुली बोलो कि उनको भी पता है, ठीक है, ही वैल्यूज माई इनसाइट्स, बट इस जगह पे ना ABC मेथड इज़ डिफरेंट एंड इट्स बेटर देन XYZ. तो लॉजिक के साथ बोलो, पीपल विल अंडरस्टैंड, पीपल मैच्योर है to understand this. Coming back to the interview, well Mosam, it was good interacting with you. I think I have asked you all I needed to know about you. Do you have any questions for me? Yes, I have a couple of questions for you. Let's assume that I get hired for the role. what do you think are the success metrics in this role, in this organization, let's say about 6 months from now and about 1 year from now? And second, if you allow me to ask another question, after interacting with me, after interviewing me, what is the thing in this role if I do you would be very very disappointed? नाउ क्वेश्चंस अगर आपसे पूछता है ना कोई कि आप इंटरव्यूअर से क्वेश्चंस पूछो, दैट इज़ अ वेरी गुड साइन. दैट मीन्स दे आर जेन्युइनली इंटरेस्टेड इन यू इन मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस, एंड इट गिव्स यू एन अपॉर्चुनिटी टू अंडरस्टैंड मोर अबाउट द रोल. सो मैंने जो 2 क्वेश्चंस पूछे वो कवर कर रहा है पूरा रेंज कि हाँ सक्सेस मेट्रिक्स क्या है, बेस्ट केस एंड ऑल्सो वर्स्ट केस क्या है जिसको मेरे को अवॉइड करना है. तो इवन इफ आई गेट सिलेक्टेड, लेट्स से, मेरे को पता है कि मेरे को क्या करना है और क्या नहीं करना. सो दैट गिव्स द इंटरव्यूअर एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि हाँ इसको पूरा रोल का डेप्थ जानने में इंटरेस्ट है, जेन्युइन इंटरेस्ट है, एंड ही इज़ मेकिंग मी थिंक अबाउट वॉट आई नीड टू से इन एन इंटरव्यू. सो दैट्स अ वेरी गुड प्लेस टू बी इन. सो या these were the few most asked questions in any field, in any interview that you are going to have. Hope you learn something from it. Again, in a gist, मॉक इंटरव्यूज़ प्रैक्टिस करो बहुत ज़्यादा. उसमें कंडीशन सिमुलेट होंगे इंटरव्यू में, आप नर्वस होगे, आपको बेटर ग्राफ्स होगा कि क्या करना है इंटरव्यू के टाइम पे. एंड इफ़ यू हैव एनी मोर सजेशंस, डू लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन बिलो. होप यू लाइक दिस वीडियो. प्लीज़ डू लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब टू माई चैनल. Thank you. Mosam Datta signing off.